Good evening, everyone. I'm Joel Porter. Thank you for joining us. No more doing 75 on the Indiana Toll Road. That's right, things got ugly after lunchtime in Michiana today. This is the scene Sunday afternoon as snow started falling around South Bend and Mishawaka. Notre Dame students, along with some Sunday commuters getting from A to B, stopped to gas up today. The National Weather Service predicts St. Joe County could pick up close to 3 inches by the end of the day. We know how much that can change. Some drivers we spoke with tell us they were trying to get home before the worst of it.
Just when you're driving, always take it slow. If you have like four-wheel drive and stuff, it's easy to start going, but it's always hard to stop no matter what. So just take it slow everywhere you go and you should be fine.
Stuff like this, when it's all wet and then you get cold enough, it freezes, and then you'll get snow on top of that. So you're hitting black ice and you have no idea what you're getting into. I hate driving in that stuff.
Can't blame you, buddy. Well, the St. Joe County Highway Department as well as INDOT spent most of Friday spraying roads with a salt brine pre-treat to prevent any possible icy conditions this weekend. That is a piece of good news, Gary. Gary Sieber joins us with tonight's first word. And Gary, you're a bit of a busy man today.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know, by Michiana standards, this isn't that big of a snowfall. But
we're out here in Concord Mall. We'll be here until 10. And Christine, we got nice and warm here in the last few minutes, so we're feeling pretty comfortable.
Good. My heart is so happy to see all these donations. It's absolutely amazing. I also saw those llamas, so make sure you guys check those guys out too. They're a staple every year.
Yeah, we really got up close with the llamas. Yeah.
Don't get too close. I'm pretty sure they spit. All right.
But also, some of the blue-collar companies from around Michiana have also really rolled up their sleeves and given in a big way. And we're talking with the family from Robert Weed Plywood Corporation from over in Bristol, and they are looking very festive this morning as well. Robin Hill joins us. So Robin, tell us, it's been a busy month for you guys.
Yes, we've been collecting money, donations at Robert Weed Plywood for Toys for Tots, and everybody's been pretty generous.
Yeah, and you guys pulled the big truck up this morning, and you unloaded a number of boxes. This has been a pretty good haul, it looks like.
Yes, it started it last year collecting for Toys for Tots, and each year I'm hoping to get bigger and better.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. Then I guess you guys certainly didn't get all dressed up for nothing. You're looking great. You're looking great, and it's going to be a great day. And the snow is held off, and nothing wrong with that. And speaking of weather, we're going to go over to Mike in Stevensville now, and they're having a busy morning as well. How's it going over there, guys? Frigid North Dakota weather. That's where I grew up, born and raised, right near Bismarck. It's pretty chilly, so is Fargo, but we are quite a bit warmer than that because they've already had 8 inches of snow in some parts of North Dakota, including where I grew up. We don't have that here, obviously. We just have a few temps just about freezing right now. Relative humidity, 92%. You can see some traffic downtown South Bend as people are getting to where they're going, but they're also using those windshield wipers just a little bit this morning. As temps just about freezing right now, we're talking about light rain. We're talking about flurries. You can see a few bands of it coming off Lake Michigan right now in some parts of southwest Michigan.
City and county road crews have been busy the last 3 days trying to prevent roads from freezing up.
News Center 16's Joel Porter hit the road today, and Joel, what difference a day makes, huh?
You got that right, Terry. At this time yesterday, we were all navigating through more than an inch of heavy, wet snow. Not all that much fun to drive through. And today, all of that has, for the most part, has had a chance to melt off. Much of the reason for that is the air and ground temps, but also because city and county road teams have been out spraying a pre-treat mixture to help stave off any of that ice from forming. A Sunday reality check for Michiana drivers.
You know, it's great that we made it this far. I mean, I personally love the winter.
A sample of winter, which was quickly brushed off Monday morning.
So this is his first snow. So he and his mommy built a snowman yesterday.
Those snowmen may not last long if city and county workers have anything to say about it.
Our barns are full. We're fully stocked right now. We're able to hold about 7,000 tons of salt. We have that on hand.
We're looking to probably have about 12 to 15 guys overnights. Days we'll have more than that.
From rock salt to brine mix, drivers have spent days spraying hundreds of miles around South Bend and St. Joe County, hoping their beet juice can beat back any black ice.
We're looking at 2 days in advance to be doing that brining and the anti-icing.
After a warm October and November, snowplow drivers are as prepared as they can be. We did dip below freezing last night, but some drivers I talked to taking the toll road say outside of a few Sunday slide-offs, road conditions today are good.
All right, Joel, what about in that I understand they got a mountain of work to do as well.
And a mountain of salt area as well. They've already stockpiled about 250,000 tons of salt, so they have that at their disposal. The Northwest District of INDOT maintains about 5,000 miles of road. They sent out over 100 trucks over this past weekend around the state. Spokesperson Doug Moats tells me that they normally pre-treat the highways. You'll see them out unless there is rain in the forecast. That would just kind of wash away some of their handiwork.
All right, Joel, thanks a lot.
You bet.
Toward the middle of this week, we'll have the details on that in just a bit. Joel?
The freeze is coming. Thank you so much, Gary. A scary morning for people living on the south end of Elkhart. One person was killed and 3 others injured. That happened early this morning on the 1800 block of DeCamp Avenue. Neighbors tell us it's a quiet neighborhood, but as Maria tells us about this morning's shooting, that changed around 3:30 in the morning.
It's a nice neighborhood, quiet considering.
It's calm and there's no trouble here.
But early Sunday morning,
I heard like a little bit of music.
Mixed with the worst wake-up call.
I heard like gunshots.
A first.
Like about 3 or 7.
For this 12-year-old who didn't want her face or name known.
There were people screaming and there were like a lot of drama out here.
Elkhart police were in the area investigating a separate case when they heard gunfire. Ran on foot to where they heard those shots.
When they got to the 1800 block of DeCamp, they engaged in they fired their weapons at a vehicle.
During some sort of encounter.
That vehicle ended up crashing in the 1800 block.
29-year-old Norman Gary was shot and died on the scene. 3 others also shot: Jaslyn Crace, Delanos Johnson, and Sean Scott, all from Elkhart. They're expected to survive.
No officers were injured, and we'll investigate this until we figure out exactly everything that has happened here.
Combing for clues during daylight. DeCamp quiet again, but that sense of peace.
I feel scared because I never heard gunshots before.
Yet to be restored. Maria Catanzarite, News Center 16.
Police say Norman Gary's autopsy will happen tomorrow. As for the investigation, Indiana State Police have now taken over. As we learn more, we will update the story on our WNDU mobile app and our Facebook page. Investigators are looking into what caused an apartment complex fire in South Bend this weekend. It took less than an hour for firefighters to put out the fire at Indian Springs Apartments. No injuries were reported, but 4 apartments were heavily damaged, while a few others had water and smoke damage. Authorities in Oakland, California now say a fire which ripped through a warehouse has killed 30 people, and that number could be higher. The blaze began Friday night while the warehouse was packed with revelers. As what reporter Dan Sheneman tells us, they were out attending an underground dance party.
Firefighters are working around the clock, sifting through the charred shell of a converted warehouse, looking for more victims.
To be able to remove debris systematically from the building to the vacant lot next to the building, literally bucket by bucket, in a methodical, thoughtful, mindful, and compassionate way.
The fire erupted Friday night during what was called an underground dance party. The warehouse, allegedly converted into illegal lofts for artists, was quickly engulfed in flames. The blaze, so explosive, firefighters had to retreat.
And the big bellow of black smoke kind of came out of every window, and it blew out of the door maybe 10 feet, just this black smoke. And at that point, only a few more people crawled out.
According to the fire department, the building did not have a sprinkler system or smoke alarms. It did not have permits for residential living. Just weeks ago, city officials launched an investigation into the warehouse, but some are now asking why it took so long.
We dropped the ball on this issue, and sadly enough, it's, we lost some lives.
Today, outside the warehouse, mourners came to pay their respects. Meanwhile, the grim search for victims is far from over. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Authorities are still working to name all of the victims. They've asked family members who are missing any loved ones to provide a DNA sample. You're now taking a look at the aftermath of a massive 10-alarm fire in Cambridge, Massachusetts. As you can see, it's all out now. The fire started in a building under construction. Then the flames were stoked by strong winds. Around 140 New England firefighters were called out to battle those weekend flames. One person said it only took a minute for the entire building to be engulfed. Nobody was seriously injured. Around 60 people are left without homes. Several people in Toledo had to get out of their houses after a train went off the tracks near their neighborhood. Police say the train was carrying a highly flammable chemical that risked spilling as 2 cars turned over. Thankfully, there was no leak. One of the cars got stuck in a tower supporting a high-tension power line. Crews are now cleaning it up. People in a small Texas town are heartbroken after a Friday night bus crash. A team of high school cheerleaders were headed home from a football game when their bus was hit by a semi. That's a picture of Elizabeth Wolf, who sponsored the team. She was killed in the wreck. All 7 cheerleaders on board were taken to nearby hospitals.
I know it's getting national attention, and right now we need a national prayer for our community to get through this. And every prayer counts, and prayer helps heal.
They were from the small town of Iran. Iran school leaders will have counselors available at the school tomorrow. 4 of the victims are now out of the hospital. Police aren't sure yet what caused the crash, but they say it was raining on Friday night. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has denied the current route for the Dakota Access Pipeline. Much of that pipeline is already buried, but the Corps ruled today they won't allow the pipeline to travel under Lake Oahe near the South Dakota border. Pipeline protesters were told they'd have to pack up and leave federal and private land by tomorrow or be arrested. Green Party candidate Jill Stein says even though her campaign can't pay for a Pennsylvania recount, she's hoping a federal court will cut her a break. Last night, Stein's campaign said they don't have $1 million to pay to recount the ballots in Pennsylvania. A lawyer for the campaign said the feds must decide since Pennsylvania state judges can't address a so-called ballot tampering problem. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Gary Seaver tells us if this snow will quit by tonight and when our next round will arrive in the Storm Team 16 forecast. Plus, the search is on. The families of those who lost loved ones in MH370, that big airline that went down 2 years ago, are still looking for any sign of the plane. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joel Porter. Here are tonight's top stories. A California warehouse becomes a death trap. Partygoers have no escape as a building catches fire. They feed the hungry and heal the spirit, but South Bend faith leaders at one church admit even their cupboards run bare after the new year. Plus, even if the cupboards are bare, the toy box sure won't be. Marines, moms, and dads are making sure needy kids get something special under the tree by Christmas. We'll get to those stories in a moment, but first, tomorrow could bring the first significant snowfall that we've seen this year in Michiana. Meteorologist Cindy Clausen is tracking the system, and flurries moving right now, so let's ask her just how bad things are looking. Cindy?
Well, overall, for Michiana standards, this is really not looking that bad.